Breaking cycles, building legacies, the power of purposeful rest. Have you ever felt like you're running a marathon that never ends? Like you're carrying the weight of expectations, yours, your family's, society's, on shoulders that weren't designed to bear such heaviness forever? I know I have. And I bet many of you sitting here today have too. I recently had the profound privilege of interviewing Kay Soul, a visionary whose work has transformed how Black women approach entrepreneurship, wellness, and authentic living. Kay isn't just another success story. She's a revolutionary healer disguised as a business strategist. Her ability to see beyond the superficial metrics of success into the soul deep needs of high achieving women has literally saved lives. What struck me most about our conversation wasn't just her remarkable insights, but how she embodies a revolutionary truth that our greatest power often emerges not from constant striving, but from intentional pausing. Let me tell you something that might sound blasphemous in our hustle culture. Rest is not a reward you earn after achievement. Rest is the foundation that makes meaningful achievement possible. I know, revolutionary, right? Almost feels illegal to say out loud in a world where rise and grind has become our modern prayer. But here's what I learned from K Soul that changed everything. When we're constantly operating from depletion, running on spiritual, emotional, and physical fumes, we're not actually living our purpose. We're just surviving it. And there's a universe of difference between surviving your purpose and truly embodying it. Consider Cassandra Hill, founder of Holistic Living Consulting. Before creating a movement that's transformed countless lives, Hill was caught in the hamster wheel so many Black women entrepreneurs know intimately, working relentlessly, neglecting her well being, believing that success required sacrifice of self, until her body simply said no more. The fascinating thing about our bodies is they have a wisdom our ambitious minds often override. They send us whispers first, a tension headache here, insomnia there. When we ignore those, they send louder messages, anxiety attacks, chronic pain. And when we still push through, they finally scream with complete shutdowns that force us to listen. Hill's breakdown wasn't a failure, it was her breakthrough moment. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm tired. Hill now advocates, having built a holistic program combining faith based coaching with herbal remedies and accountability groups. Her revelation, that wellness isn't optional, it's foundational. Her clients don't just achieve more, they heal while achieving, breaking the false dichotomy between success and wholeness. This isn't just nice theory, it's transformation in action. But let's be honest, choosing rest when you've been conditioned for constant productivity feels terrifying, like you're breaking some unspoken rule, like you're letting people down, like maybe you don't deserve it. I see those thoughts crossing your minds. I recognize that internal resistance, that voice whispering, but if I slow down, who will handle everything? If I prioritize myself, am I being selfish? These questions reveal something profound about the journeys many of us are on, especially those who feel called to break cycles and create new legacies. The very act of choosing yourself can feel like betrayal when you've been taught that your value lies in what you do for others. But what if the most revolutionary act isn't doing more, but being more present? What if your healing is actually the foundation for the impact you're meant to have? Queso's insights remind us that honoring your unique journey often means walking against the current of expectations. It means recognizing when you're carrying burdens out of obligation rather than purpose. Consider Sheila Johnson, co founder of BET and the first Black female billionaire. Long before her groundbreaking success, Johnson understood what it meant to walk boldly against norms. As the daughter of a military veteran raised amid social upheaval, she navigated an industry dominated by racial bias, where authentic Black stories were rarely amplified. Johnson didn't just build a media empire, she created cultural space, room for voices, perspectives, and experiences that had been systematically marginalized. Her legacy proves that pursuing purpose, even when isolated or misunderstood, creates ripples that transform industries and communities for generations. But here's what's often overlooked in success stories like Johnson's: the inner work that makes outer impact possible. Behind every breakthrough is a person who's had to confront their own limitations, heal their own wounds, and find anchors that sustain them through inevitable storms. For many, including the remarkable women Queso highlighted in our conversation, those anchors include faith in God, supportive community, and creative expression. These aren't just nice additions to a successful life. They're the essential infrastructure that makes sustainable impact possible. Take Catherine Finney of Genius Guild. After selling her successful fashion blog, The Budget Fashionista, Finney could have simply enjoyed her success. Instead, she leveraged her research skills to highlight funding gaps facing Black women entrepreneurs and built organizations like Digital Undivided, focused on supporting underrepresented founders. The result? Over $100 million secured for more than 2,500 Black women entrepreneurs who might otherwise have been overlooked by traditional venture capital. Finney became a national leader who inspired others by refusing to wait for permission before making change happen. Her work redefined what leadership looks like for Black women, blazing new trails, proving that collective action can break generational barriers. But what enabled her to sustain this revolutionary work? Not just ambition or skill, but a foundation of self knowledge, community support, and unwavering commitment to purpose beyond profit. This is where many of us get stuck. We have the vision, we have the passion, we even have the skills, but we're trying to build legacies on foundations of exhaustion. We're attempting to pour from empty cups, wondering why we feel constantly depleted. K Soul's wisdom offers a different path, one where self healing isn't selfish, but strategic, where boundaries aren't barriers to connection, but gateways to more authentic relationships, where rest isn't laziness, but revolutionary resistance against systems designed to extract our energy without replenishing our spirits. I see some of you shifting uncomfortably in your seats. This message challenges deeply ingrained beliefs about worth, productivity, and purpose, especially for those who've been socialized to prioritize everyone else's needs above their own. But what if your discomfort is actually invitation? An invitation to examine whether the beliefs driving your exhaustion are actually serving your highest purpose. What if the very thing you're avoiding, vulnerability, rest, asking for help, is precisely what would unlock your next level of impact? This isn't abstract philosophy, it's practical wisdom with measurable outcomes. When Cassandra Hill's clients embraced the radical notion that wellness is not optional, they didn't just feel better, they built more sustainable businesses. They showed up more authentically in their relationships. They modeled different possibilities for their children, breaking intergenerational patterns of burnout and depletion. They discovered that prioritizing healing doesn't diminish ambition, it fuels it with cleaner energy, clearer vision, and greater sustainability. This is the heart of what K Soul's work illuminates. The true empowerment comes not from constantly pushing beyond limits, but from honoring the wisdom of our bodies, minds, and spirits. From recognizing when we need to pause, reflect, and replenish before continuing our journey. It's about understanding that your unique path may not look like anyone else's. And that's not just okay, it's necessary. The world doesn't need more carbon copies of success stories past. It needs your authentic expression, which can only emerge when you're brave enough to honor your truth. Sometimes that truth looks like setting boundaries that make others uncomfortable. Sometimes it looks like stepping away from roles that once defined you but no longer serve your evolution. Sometimes it looks like admitting you're tired and need support, even when you've prided yourself on being the one who never needs help. These moments of courageous authenticity aren't detours from your purpose, they're essential passages through which your purpose becomes clearer, stronger, more refined. So here's my challenge to you today: commit to one radical act of self honoring this week. Not next month when things slow down, not next year when you've reached that goal. This week. Maybe it's blocking 2 hours in your calendar for absolutely nothing but breathing. Perhaps it's having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding because keeping peace seemed easier than speaking truth. It could be seeking therapy to finally address the trauma you've been functioning around but never through. Whatever it is, do it with the same dedication you bring to your most important projects, because you are your most important project. The world needs your gifts, not the exhausted, depleted version of them, but the full, vibrant expression that can only come from a well nourished soul. Your healing isn't separate from your purpose, it is your purpose. Everything else flows from that foundation. When future generations look back at how you transformed your family tree, your community, your industry, let them see not just what you accomplished, but how you accomplished it. Let them inherit not just your achievements, but your wholeness. Because in the end, the most revolutionary legacy we can leave isn't just what we built, but how we lived while building it. Not just the cycles we broke, but the new patterns of possibility we created. That is the true power of purposeful rest. Not weakness, but wisdom. Not selfishness, but sustainability. Not an absence of ambition, but its most profound expression. Thank you